And then a hero comes along, promising to save the throng of all the failures by our side, while praying a real star arrives. And when you feel like hope is gone, knowing CNN can't carry on, and then you'll finally see the truth, which CNN's allergic to. Where is this savior? Where is this king of all media that was supposed to remove the water off the deck and save the Titanic, known as CNN? Where is this hero? I can be your hero, baby. Several months ago, we were told that Mark Thompson was the answer. Mark Thompson was the media mogul who could rescue the Titanic. Mark Thompson was the man who could achieve the impossible, turn CNN into a network that people actually watch. He took over as the new president of CNN back in October. Didn't take long for the steaming turds to be polished. October 31st. CNN, they issue a press release with the headline, CNN delivers the most growth in cable news. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't waste my time reading this article. I didn't have to read the article to know it was 100% bullshit. It's just another case of CNN taking some obscure metric that no one cares about and presenting it to the public as evidence that they are still on life support. We haven't sunk yet. 8 decks might be covered with water, but the top deck is still above sea level. Now, in all fairness to Mark Thompson, he's only been on the job for a little over 3 months now. Obviously, that is not enough time to provide enough life rafts. That's not enough time to rescue the network. The problem for Mark Thompson, ratings. They have gone from bad to worse. This latest report is embarrassing. I mean, it is embarrassing. CNN is lucky it's only January. If this report was released in December, CNN would be the leading nominee for the Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we're in the middle of an election year. This is prime real estate for cable news networks. You have a heated election between Donald Trump, Orange Man bad, and the increasingly wrinkled John Biden. Well, Casey, what about Nikki Haley? What about her? The only person who thinks Nikki Haley is in this race is Nikki Haley. She can't even convince people in her home state of South Carolina to give her a chance. My inside sources, they conducted a poll. They asked 1,000 respondents if they were voting for Nikki Haley in this primary. The only options they were given for answers was yes and yes. Somehow, Nikki Haley still lost because no one was willing to answer the question. One respondent even said, I'd rather be the Preparation H applicator at Club Shay Shay than vote for Nikki Haley. Last week, the industry of cable news, it was focused primarily on the Iowa caucuses. Now, this was great for Fox News as they averaged over 2 million viewers in prime time. Fox was the most watched network on cable during a week that featured the NFL playoffs on ESPN. MSNBC ranked third with about 1 million viewers in prime time, but that's to be expected, right? Both Fox, MSNBC, they have an established audience. The Fox audience consists of normal people hoping the network doesn't move any further towards the left, while the MSNBC audience consists of illiterate birthing persons complaining about some mythical book bans on books they can't even read. When it comes to ratings in cable news, the real story is CNN, the most trusted name in news in Uganda. For 2 years now, CNN has been in the midst of an identity crisis. They have been searching for something, anything, that could give them an identity. Former President Chris Licht, better known here on the channel as Chris the Bongo Licker, he wanted CNN to be more appealing to normal people. New President Mark Thompson, he wants to move CNN into the digital age. Translation? They can't draw an audience on television, so they put CNN on HBO Max where ratings can't easily be tracked. That way, people like me can't find their ratings and CNN can report whatever the hell they want. Last week, CNN barely finished in the top 10 on cable. They averaged 577,000 viewers in prime time during the week of the Republican primaries. Now, let me just put that number in perspective for you. The biggest time of year in the WNBA dump is the WNBA Finals. That's when employees of the remaining two dumps battle it out in a 5-game series of pretend basketball to see who will be given access to flushable toilets during the off-season. The losers, of course, have to continue using the porta potties. Last year, WNBA Finals, they averaged 728,000 viewers. That's about 150,000 viewers more than CNN averaged last week in prime time. Just think about that. We are no longer comparing CNN to MSNBC, Fox News. Ratings have gotten so bad, CNN is being compared to the bearded beauties in the WNBA. Now, you might be wondering, what other networks beat CNN in the ratings last week? I'm glad you asked, because even if you didn't, I was going to tell you anyway. CNN, they were beaten by the Hallmark Channel, but that's okay. That's okay. January, usually a big month for the Hallmark Channel. All those people who have already failed to keep their New Year's resolutions, they watch the Hallmark Channel to feel better about themselves. CNN, they were also beaten by the History Channel. How many times have I told you guys that you could broadcast a baboon seducing a walrus and draw a larger audience than CNN? If you didn't believe me before, you can believe me now because it happened last week. But that's not the best part. It gets even better. It gets even better. Or it gets even worse if you're CNN. Last week, CNN, they were beaten by a network named INSP. Casey, what the hell's INSP? I had no idea either. When I discovered this, I thought INSP was an acronym for one of those old internet service providers from the 1990s. Welcome to CompuServe. You've got mail. INSP is a television network that was founded in the 1970s. The network is headquartered on Guardian land in South Carolina. Now, when I stumbled across that fact, I thought maybe Nikki Haley had ancestors who started the network, but that wasn't the case. INSP was started by televangelist Jim Bakker and Tammy Faye Bakker. I would imagine the Bakker bunch is no longer responsible for running the network. If I remember correctly, I think Jim Bakker was sent to prison for being a televangelist, also known as a swindler. INSP, though, originally started as a non-profit ministry-focused network. Today, it's just a regular cable channel with commercials that broadcast old Western movies and TV shows. Reruns! Which means CNN was beaten in the ratings last week by reruns of Gunsmoke and Little House on the Prairie. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. The problem for CNN, there's no relief in sight. Things are only going to get worse because CNN, they do not have a single star at this network. Seriously, name one personality at CNN that commands your attention. Name one personality at CNN that generates mainstream interest. Andy Cooper is no longer a star. He was a star 15, maybe 20 years ago, but no one gives a shit about Andy Cooper in 2024. Wolf Blitzer, woof, 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 woof. Most people don't even realize that Wolf Blitzer is still on TV. I cover the media for a living. I can't even give you CNN's primetime lineup. Outside of Caitlin Collins, Katie Rue. Outside of Rue and Andy Koo, I have no idea who CNN features in prime time. One of the problems with their primetime lineup, CNN tied themselves to the wrong anchor, or in this case, a complete lack of personality. Since last summer, CNN has centered their primetime lineup around Caitlin Collins. And she just doesn't have it. I have nothing against Caitlin Collins. I'm sure she's a lovely woman, but as a primetime host in cable news, she sucks. She's dry. She has no charisma. She lacks the ability to relate to her audience. Believe it or not, 3 years ago, 2021, CNN, most watched network on cable, not cable news, on cable. The difference, though, back then, they had stars. Whether you liked them or not, Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo, hey, it's me, Chrissy C. Donnie and Chrissy, they were stars. Even when Don Lemon destroyed his own audience and he was promoted from prime time to morning television, where he continued being a huge embarrassing failure, even then, Don Lemon was constantly generating interest in the mainstream. When is the last time someone at CNN has led the news cycle? When is the last time someone at CNN was the leading story in the mainstream media? It never happens anymore, and it doesn't happen because they don't have any star power. They tried Bill Maher on Friday nights. Failure, couldn't save CNN. Right now, they are trying Charles Barkley and someone named King Gale. Ratings are atrocious. Somehow, Gail Barkley has managed to tank CNN's ratings even further. At this point, it just might be too late. CNN's lost so much credibility, I don't know if it can be restored. They're not woke enough for the shit fucks, and they lost normal people decades ago. One of the signs of a poorly run organization, constant changes in leadership. CNN, they are on their third president in the last 3 years. The New York Post, they spoke with an insider at CNN regarding their ratings failure. According to the New York Post, CNN, they're not overly concerned about their television ratings. No! Ratings are only one metric that we use to gauge performance. CNN is performing well. We are pulling extraordinary numbers on CNN.com. CNN.com? Have things gotten so bad at this network, they're boasting about hits on their website? Where have I heard this excuse before? Oh yeah, the NBA. Anytime the NBA is struggling in the ratings, which is damn near every time, the league likes to point out, we are really popular on social media. Big fucking deal. I never see the NFL brag about their digital numbers. Want to know why? The NFL, they are too busy bragging about their television ratings. But give me your thoughts on this. CNN ratings continue their trajectory of huge embarrassing failure. CNN barely ranks inside the top 10 on cable. Beaten by the History Channel, reruns of Gunsmoke. At this point, is CNN salvageable? Would securing a major mainstream star in prime time, would that save the ratings at CNN? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. See you guys tomorrow.